Okay, so now we've had the burners running, got everything about up to temperature. There again, if this was initial fill, we'd be waiting longer, or initial startup, we'd be waiting longer, but it's not. We've been drying grain. So now we're going to turn on our unload. And I got to remember where the meter enrolls were at last. So go into tools, history log. Oh, excuse me, not that. Tools, graphs and trends, meter enroll speed. Looks like he had the meter enroll speed at, that would be the green light, about, that's 40, 2.5, 5, so 30's there. I think he was around 28% roughly, meter enroll speed. But you got graphs and charts for your discharge moisture, plenum temperature, meter enroll, discharge temp, input moisture. That replaces any printer that we used to have. So now let's go to 28. Now we manually pick the number from 0 to 100%. So we're at 28% meter enroll speed. Early in the season, when the corn's 30%, you might start that out around 15%. Later in the season, it might be running as high as 40%. But that's kind of trial and error. There's some things in your books to tell you how to do that. The main thing is today is we're trying to figure out how to streamline the startup of this dryer versus some of the ways you can do it through the controller. So now we're up and drying grain. If I decide to change this 30%, now I need to give this dryer a couple hours. Just walk away and give it a couple hours. I won't know what I did until you run the dryer completely empty, and that takes a couple hours usually. So a good rule of thumb is when you make any changes, give it a couple hours, and then come back and test your grain and see what you did. Now, you guys want to know how to go to auto. If this is the right speed for the right moisture, 28%, I decide that the moisture coming out is what I want. I go into my settings, my moisture settings, I'm asking for 16%. So set what you're asking it to come out at. We're saying it's going in at 22 and a half, we want it to come out at 16. So we've told it what to do. There again, we did that in settings, moisture settings. That's the number we want it to come out. So now we say that the dryer, right now it's saying 15 and a half, but we're going to say that that's what we want. Everything's working good, now we want to go to auto. First thing, go to auto settings, meter enroll settings, minimum, maximum. Right now our roll speed is 28%. Well, if we went to auto, we can't go any faster than 25. So let's move that up to 30. And then our minimum, let's take that up to 25. So basically we're only giving it about 5% to move. And what's going to happen when we go to auto, you're going to say go to auto, touch and hold, and here's your auto screen. Now the meter enroll can go as low as 25% and as high as 30%. Always set a parameter around your target. Your target is what you found to be the right speed, and then set your high and low around your target. Now it can slow down to 25 if the grain starts coming out wetter, or it can speed up to 30 if the grain starts coming out drier. Right now it's telling us in auto that it's loading. When it's full, both green lights will be on again. We can look at plenum details, which is going to tell us burner temperatures and gas valve openings. We can hide that. Our meter enroll speed, 28%. We've told it can go as high as 30, as low as 25. Our grain output, we're looking for 16. It's coming out 15.4 right now. So it's going to try to speed up a little bit because it's coming out slower, or it's coming out drier than what we told it to. So it's going to be speeding up. We're going to hide that, hide that. Unload delay. If I wanted to switch bins, I could hold that. I got 2 minutes to go out and switch grain to another bin. If I don't accomplish that in 2 minutes, the dryer will shut down. If I want to calibrate my moisture sensor, I can come into here. If I decide my moisture sensor isn't reading correctly, like the factory setting would have been 20, they've already calibrated it, so now they're at 15.5. That's how we would calibrate it. We just hit that and tell it what it is. Whatever the moisture is on your tester is what you tell it. Right now the dryer's just about full. When that second green light comes on, That means the dryer just filled. This dryer is going to fill every couple 3 minutes. It'll cycle on, cycle off. Give it a minute here just to see that light go green. Oh, it was going the other way. It was actually working down. So we'll wait for it to load. Right now it's loading. And that means about this much of the wet bin up there needs grain all the way across. So right now that auger up top is filling about that much of the wet bin. Waiting for the two lights to go green, and then the dryer will be filled again, will be full. See how it picked up the meter and roll speed 0.1, it was 28, because the corn's too dry, so it's going to start slowly bringing up the meter and roll speed to try to get the 16% that we've told it we're looking for. Remember, there's a 10-minute out of grain timer. Okay, so the dryer's full. If it had taken 5 or 6 minutes to fill the dryer, I'd go out and give it, open the slide gate more, or somehow fill the dryer quicker. But in 10 minutes, it's going to run out. So you should be able to fill the dryer 2 to 4 minutes. If you're going much past that, you need to check your flow coming into the dryer. Or you might possibly have to turn down your roll speed if you're pushing out more grain than you can put in. So anyway, it's going to start calling for grain here in a little bit. Now, let's say that I decided my dryer's wandering. Too dry, too wet, it's wandering. Well, if I want to get it back stable again, go to manual. Right back to the screen that we started in. The dryer will only run whatever you have here for meter and roll speeds. It won't go up, won't go down. Find your moisture again, and then go back to auto. And then make sure when you do your roll speed that your minimum maximum is set a little above and a little below your target if you're going to run in auto. There's nothing wrong with running in manual. The only thing it does different in auto, it shows you this screen, which is a little easier screen to navigate, and then it will speed up and slow down the meter rolls. The safety functions are the same in manual or auto, so it doesn't really matter that way. Some guys say the corn coming in is the same moisture, I want the same moisture coming out. I found my target, well, leave it manual. It's not going to bother at all. But when it's running correctly in auto, it should compensate a point or two, just like anybody's on the market. Pretty much every drying company out there in the market has not got this figured out. Some work better than others. This one I think works fairly well, but don't let any dryer salesman tell you all you got to do is put in auto and walk away. That doesn't work on any of them. So right now the dryer's full again. This on auto, we'll see how the customer gets along with it. There again, that's basically how you start and stop a Sukup dryer. Remember, all green buttons are push and hold. Red, push and hold. To adjust meter rolls, hit it. You get your keypad, just hit enter. So that's basically how you start a Sukup dryer. Once again, this is a Quadro Touch controller. Out there is the main power box. Don't get them confused when you're calling in and you got questions. So that's pretty much wraps it up for how to run a dryer.